ready with me while I tell you about my wedding. I just got back from the gym. I did shower. I might have to take a pause in the middle of this video to take my husband's brother to the train station, but then I'll be right back, so don't worry. I went to an activity on Tuesday of this week. I was sitting next to a wedding planner and we were talking all about weddings and our weddings and what we would do differently and all this stuff. And as I started talking about my wedding, I realized it was low-key a disaster. Everything that could go wrong really did go wrong.
Okay, that might have been a little bit dramatic. Not everything went wrong, but a lot did go wrong.
And I was just like, as I was talking about it, honestly, it's funny now, I was kind of stressed about it. In some aspects of my wedding, I'm like, dang, that really stinks. But I was telling them this, and the girl I was sitting next to was like, you should just tell this story to people. Like, you should like write a blog post about it or something. And I was like, you know what? I will not be doing a blog post. I will, however, make a YouTube video while I do my face prep and makeup. So get ready with me while I tell you about my wedding. So here it is, the story you've all been waiting for, my wedding and everything that went wrong. I paid for the majority of our wedding, and so we were on kind of a budget because alas, I was working at like a call center. And honestly, it was still a beautiful day. It was a wonderful day. We got married, so that's all anybody could ask for. But there definitely were a few things that went wrong. My husband and I got married in December, and we live in Utah, so it was very snowy. On the day of our wedding, there was a snowstorm. Like, I went outside of my house and saw 4 feet of snow, and nobody was driving anywhere. We had an early time to go get married, and so it was kind of a disaster. And his family was coming from really far north, and we were getting married more, okay, how do I orient this? In Utah, there's the I-15, okay? This is the I-15. This is the span of like the whole entire valley. We were getting married here. His family's coming from here. My family's coming from here. We were coming from here. That's kind of the situation here. Everyone struggled to get to where we were gonna get married. It was so snowy, and because of that, everyone in his family was really late. So when they got into the room, they sat on my side. So my side was like overflowing with people. His side had like 2 people there. But it's not because he didn't have love and support, it's because of the snowstorm. The snowstorm comes into play a lot more later in the evening.
Hi guys.
It's wedding day.
It's wedding day, and there's so much snow. Look at all of
It's
that.
a white wedding!
Yeah, boy. I don't think so.
Like video the
wait.
roads.
You do it. Grab it. Okay, it's on video.
I don't know if you can see this. Okay, it doesn't look as bad in the video, but that's a lot of snow.
Oh.
Oh, oh!
Oh, we're drifting.
We're drifting. Oh my gosh, you can't tell from the video how much snow.
Holy cow.
Oh, you can see those people. Oh,
We're sliding so much.
it's like hitting the bottom of our car.
Jeez.
What a wedding. We stopped, but we got a wedding.
Welcome to wedding day, and the
Yeah, you
roads
know.
are crazy, and everybody is getting stuck.
No, but that's no car.
Oh man.
Foreman's not gonna make it.
I know. I'm gonna call him.
So anyway, we get married and it's a beautiful, wonderful thing. My mom is literally gonna throw up in the dressing room. It's fine. It's fine. She's nervous. It's okay. I get it. Her kid's getting married. On our way out, we are waiting for the photographer, and we kept waiting and kept waiting because they were very late. Once the photographer finally showed up, we went out into the freezing cold and started taking pictures. Well, it's all fun and beautiful until we're leaving from the photos, and I get in the car and I realize my uncle did not give out my boutonnieres or corsages or anything to the bridesmaids or groomsmen. Watch this. Beautiful. Also, I know I look really crazy and greasy right now, but it makes for beautiful makeup. Just hang tight. The flower thing is the part that sucks the most for me. Like, I had my bouquet and literally that was it. Like, that was the only floral thing in sight, and I paid a pretty penny for those, and so that honestly breaks my heart. And I wanted to do things with the flowers, but you know, you can't have everything. Driving away, and I realized that we forgot all the flowers, and I'm a little sad about that. I'm still feeling blissful because we just got married. Like, that's so fun. And I'm 1, starving, 2, oh, something in my Got it. 2, I'm exhausted and I want to take a nap. So we went to Chick-fil-A. I'm full on in my wedding dress and he is in his suit. And we go to Chick-fil-A, and this part was actually amazing, but we pull up to the drive-thru and the guy's like, oh my gosh, did you just get married? We were like, yeah, we did just get married and we're so freaking starving. And he's like, whatever you want on the house. And then he bought our Chick-fil-A for us. Bless that man. I don't remember his name. I got married like 3.5 years ago, but I will be eternally grateful for that because I was starving. So we get back to our apartment and he had already been living in our apartment before me because it was a good deal and we didn't want to lose it. And so he's living in there and we go and nap. Like, I am freaking exhausted. And this is before like our dinner luncheon thing that we're doing the same day. His mom was like in charge of all that. So I was just happy to show up and be there. Luckily, we got a good sleep in. I didn't show up late. We didn't show up late, nothing like that. Everything was totally fine on that end. So, background, I want to tell you about, before I continue with the night, I want to give some background to like our outfits and whatnot. I was shopping on a budget, as I mentioned, and I actually had the best luck in the world. Almost out, which is absolutely tragic. But 1, my wedding dress. I had the best luck with my wedding dress. I went and tried on dresses at a bunch of places with mostly my grandma, and my mom came along, and we found this one place. It doesn't exist anymore, which is funny because my venue doesn't exist anymore either. Literally, God just put them on this earth for me and my wedding so that I could afford it. However, it was the coolest place ever. I felt like a freaking Barbie doll because what you did is you picked out your bodice and you picked out your sleeves and you picked out your skirt. I just rented, I didn't buy. And then they sewed it together and made any alterations. It included a belt and a veil and alterations like in the price, which was only $500. And then you wear it, they sew it together for the 2 weeks that you have it. And then, what is happening outside? Then they just like seam rip it and other people can use that and place it together however they like. So I like got to fully customize my wedding dress, which was actually way cool. Now for the bridesmaids dresses. My sisters were my bridesmaids. So I had exactly 3 and I wanted to get them little cardigans because it was so cold outside. And somebody on Facebook Marketplace had a wedding, bought all the stuff, and then decided to get married later and change the colors. So they were selling 3 dresses and 3 cardigans that were in the exact sizes of my sisters. I felt like Goldilocks. I'm honestly so blessed and grateful that those things turned out the way they did because it made my life so much easier. And I wasn't very particular on the shoes that they were. If I were to do my wedding now, I would probably put a little more money into it because I have a little more money and make it like a lot fancier. But I was working with what I had and it still honestly turned out great, even though a lot went wrong. Oh my gosh, I forgot the most important part. Rewind before the nap, before we get to the lunch. My husband's brother had a girlfriend at the time, and this girlfriend was pregnant. She was very pregnant at the time of our wedding. She goes into labor on our wedding day at the same time that we're getting married. So they weren't there. So we went in not being married, and then we came out one being married and also being aunts and uncles. Really, how did I forget that? That was freaking crazy. Anyway, okay, now we're all caught up. Everything's great. We are at the luncheon. The luncheon is great. It's fine. It's easy. Everyone can eat whatever they want. And then we go over to the reception. My sweet aunts at the time went early to go and set up for the luncheon.
No, I'm mistaken. They didn't go to set up for the luncheon. They went to set up the venue. But I did want to add, my mother-in-law was so thoughtful and decorated the place with like engraved tea light holders that said Corman and Sheva forever. It was really cute. This was also semi during COVID time, so she also got everybody masks if they wanted to that also had us and our wedding details on the mask. It was really cute.
And this was actually a blessing. When I was looking for venues, I was looking for cheap. Like literally that was my only requirement. I found this venue, like the top floor of like a complex thing. It was so cheap for me. It was like $900, which is like nothing for a venue. And the best part is because my wedding was so close to Christmas, they were telling me like I can add decorations, of course, for like an extra fee. However, the night before and like the day after, they're having a holiday party and those people already paid for the decorations and it would be more work for them to take it down and put it back up. And so they were like, can we just leave them up and then you don't have to pay for decorations? And I said, yes, that works great for me. Thank you. Thank you. I will take that. And then I just added some lights and that was it. So that was really convenient. So I get there and my aunts are just setting up some of the last like table decor and whatnot. And it turned out really cute. And so I was really happy with how it looked. Here's the kicker. My sweet, sweet grandmother, whom I love dearly, who has since passed away. Oh wait, back up. It's still snowing. It's literally still snowing. So everyone's late or doesn't show up. So there's like no one at our wedding, which, you know, that's okay. When it first happened, I was like salty. I was like, oh no, people don't love me, everyone hates me, and the world is against me, which clearly is not true and was not a healthy mindset. It was just very cold and very snowy, and I bet a lot of people didn't want to go because they didn't want to like get in a car wreck. But the people that did go, shout out to you. I love you guys. Thank you so much for coming to my special day. Well, and my husband's special day, but mostly my special day. Anyway, we're at the venue and my grandma is coming in. My grandpa has MS, so he can't walk very well. So everyone's like taking a little look and watch for grandpa. Well, on my grandma's way into the reception center, she slips disastrously and she falls and she breaks her arm. I was fully unaware of this until I overheard someone else say it, because I simultaneously was dealing with issues of the music. Because you know why? Yeah, the party that happened the night before burnt out the speaker. So we could not hear the music nor turn up the music. Obviously, once I heard that my grandma had fallen and broken her arm, I was way more concerned for my grandma than I was for the music, especially because the person who was going to be wheeling her around for a lot of the evening also can't walk because he literally has MS. Like, he's using her wheelchair as a cane. But here is the funny and also quite convenient part. My venue, like I mentioned, it is the top floor. Guess what's on the first floor? An ER. Who'da thunk? A literal ER is on the first floor of the venue. So she goes to the ER, they give her a Diet Coke, they patch up her arm, give her a ton of narcotics, and she is being wheeled back and forth. This is actually hilarious when I think about it. She's being wheeled back and forth from the hospital ER thing to my wedding, and she is dancing with her one arm, like sitting stagnant with her Diet Coke in the other hand. It was really iconic. I will add photos. So the night goes on, and honestly, everything else was pretty good and pretty normal, like nothing crazy, just like issues of the music, honestly. And then my husband's family like had to leave pretty swiftly because of our nephew being born, and they didn't want her like alone in the hospital. And yeah, that was all kind of crazy. Our first dance with our parents was really sweet. My dad's deaf, so he doesn't like, we don't have a song, we don't really listen to music. Well, I love music, I listen to music. He doesn't. We never did, me and my dad together. So we just did our first dance with our parents together, and Corman chose a song that like he and his mom really like, and I liked it too. So I was like super happy with it, and I think the meaning was cute. And I ended up, this is actually kind of cute, I ended up sending my dad the lyrics to it so he could know like what it was saying while we were dancing, even though he couldn't hear it. So that was like really sweet. And our cake was literally divine. I don't remember who made our cake. I could probably find out and like put their picture right here. Our cake was perfect. It was so delicious and lasted so long. Yeah, so that was like the rest of our night, and it was really beautiful and amazing, and I loved it. Now I will briefly go to the post-wedding. Like I mentioned, we were on a budget, so we didn't have some like grand honeymoon, but we do go on a cruise every year now to celebrate and like kind of make up for it, but also just because we want to. It's not really to make up for it. Like, our honeymoon was fun and fine. The same grandparents that one has MS and one fell at the wedding have a timeshare.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't actually know what a timeshare is. It might just be a home that they have, but yeah, they have a place in St. George.
In St. George, Utah. So we stayed there, and then we went and saw some shows in Vegas. And that was honestly really fun. Like, the shopping was fun. It was nice to get out of the really cold weather and into some warm Vegas weather. And we're just like hanging there at the place, and I get a phone call. I'm gonna back up a second. We went the next morning to St. George just because it was so snowy. So we went home and slept, and then woke up and drove to St. George, and it was still really snowy, and we actually had to stop and get replacement windshield wipers on the way because ours had frozen over and we could not see anything. I actually have this really funny picture of me with an icicle that we literally pulled off of our car. We get to the timeshare, we're sleeping, I wake up, I get a phone call, yada yada yada, like I already mentioned, and who could it be other than, and she is calling me to tell me that her son is in a boot camp nearby and she wants to stay with us, like at the timeshare while we're on our honeymoon. Dead serious, this was my face. I looked at my husband. You know we're on our honeymoon, right? No, sorry, like there's not room for you here. Like, we don't want you here, ... Like, it was so weird. But the rest of our honeymoon was super great, and the shows were fun. I actually made him watch the Britney Spears documentary on YouTube, so that was also fun. And Even though my wedding was really crazy, I think it's just a great start to our love story because our love story's been a little crazy, and so it's just perfect for us. And also in the future, I would also do another wedding, but do it totally differently and just make it like super fun and another reason to like buy a cake and wear a dress. Thanks so much for watching and getting ready with me. I made it with 6 minutes to spare. Oh, that's my grandma. That's the one who fell and broke her arm. Isn't she so cute? I'm gonna go take my husband's brother to the train station and I will see you guys later. Bye.